Hi, it's Graham Martin from Orchard Recruitment. This is case study number 57 and it's the early July date in 2015. It's very hot in our office, it's over 90 degrees, which is why I've got an open neck shirt on and no tie today. So I want to talk to you about this particular campaign that started back in February. A client, long-standing client of ours, had a position for a web developer, more to do with the back end than simply the front end, but they did need some design element. It was mainly the coding, and whilst they did use WordPress, they were looking at somebody that could do some bespoke coding for them. A very complicated e-commerce package that needed to be integrated onto the website. Now, we started looking, of course what we did was we did what we always do, we put it on the websites. But out of that, whilst we were offering probably in the region of about £28,000 to £30,000, there was only about 25 people who put their hand up. Of those, only one was potentially good enough, and he got snapped up even before we could get to the situation where we could talk about an interview with us. So secondly, then Monica started to source candidates from the CV databases, and of course we spend a lot of money on these CV databases and they give us global access, and of that we actually managed to find one or two people, but the problem was that they were more front end than pure back end. What we found increasing was the back end people, they wanted to go freelance because of course the economy's picked up and everybody wants a new website, they're prepared to throw lots of money at them. So we had a lot of people that were looking at this but actually wanted to go and do contracting, or indeed they'll set up their own businesses and be freelance. So that created some challenges for us. We started to look at the money and we realised pretty quickly that 35,000 might be the figure to try and recruit people. But again, nobody else came through. And then Monica stumbled on somebody. Let's call him James, that's not his real name, it doesn't matter. But James was absolutely spot on. We interviewed him in the office. Now, whilst I'm not a technical web recruiter, I understand what the client's looking for, I understand some of the technical terminology, and he showed me his portfolio. His portfolio was absolutely cracking. So we made an appointment for him to see the client the next day, and the client absolutely adored him. Fantastic. But the challenge was, the client's co-director was away on a buying trip abroad. Now, this particular company, they tend to make decisions based on the two directors say so. And guess what happened? Between the time when the first interview took place and the other director coming back, this guy James had found himself in another position, was off the market. So very frustrating for our client and also for us. So we had to start again. The key challenge we found though, talking to people, was that the client being based in Tottenham, it's not necessarily the most salubrious of locations. I mean, let's be clear, it's not West End, it's not Camden, it's not the trendy area of town. And it's not got very good transport links, this particular part. So, lo and behold, not because of this vacancy, but purely coincidentally, the client opened a sub-office up in Euston, wasn't it? Give me a nod, yeah, it was Euston. And that transformed things, because what we found was that the Euston market for applicants was much stronger around IT, design, creative. So what we found was that we could go and search people. Again, nobody was coming through on the websites. It was purely Monica doing a really good search process and finding some people. So lo and behold, we found a great candidate, but the money by this time had drifted up. So we were now looking at a position that was paying much more than we'd originally thought, at 28,000 based in Tottenham. Here we are, Euston, we've got to pay central London rates. This was a young guy, 23 years of age, and from being in his early years, GCSEs and A-levels, and whilst he's at university, he was actually developing his own websites and selling them commercially, and he set up his own business. But the problem he found was it was either steak one day or baked beans the next. There was no real, should we say, consistency towards the income, even though he'd built a company with some developers working alongside him. And he missed the creative influence of other people and wanted some direction and wanted a real mentor. So at 23 years of age, this chap managed to go for the first interview with our client, and the client decided pretty much there and then that he wanted to offer. So we actually extended an offer, subject going for a kind of cross the T's and dot the I's thing. And then we knew that this applicant, guess what, had been made another offer. So the client had to move that much faster. A deal was done on the day that this applicant found that she got first class honours in his master's degree. So he'd already got a BSc, but he went off and got an MSc himself, whilst actually developing his own business through his own consultancy and his own agency. So fortunately he accepted. The client ended up recruiting, paying a bit more money in a different location, but he got exactly what he was looking for. But the frustration was that this has taken us about 4 months. and the market is so strong for applicants. They seem to be in charge at the moment, particularly individuals with specific skill sets. So the message there is, if you see somebody, whether through us, another agency, or through your own efforts, if you like them, don't prevaricate, offer the right money as well, because we knew that if the client lowballed this particular applicant, he had so many other offers coming through that he'd just look over his shoulder, he'd get snapped up elsewhere a week, a month, 6 months down the line. So offer the right money from day one and don't mess around. Do it quickly and do it right. That's it. End of the case study 57. Bye.